Hello and welcome into the Adam Groom Show, which has also been called Tags by people. The Adam Groom Show, where you're going to get takes from Groomer. The weather's changing and it's just insanely beautiful and it fires me up. The greatest time of year is, hockey's still on. The playoff push is ahead of us. The Masters is around the corner. The golf course is around here, getting ready. Just a phenomenal time. Baseball started last night. MLB out in Japan. Shout out Dodgers winning. Shocking. Jays getting exciting. Barrios going to be the opening day starter. Pretty cool. I mean, who cares? They make it a big deal. It's fun. It's awesome. But yeah, let's get rolling. We're not talking about the Jays today. I got the laptop set up here. It's wild. I don't have my glasses because it looks weird on the camera, but I think I can see enough to talk through it. And we're going to look at the NHL Atlantic Division race. We're getting down to it. My last episode, I talked about the Leafs maybe not being quite the team I think that can get it done. Although if they played the way they did last night against Calgary, they're going to be awesome. But I think Calgary's going to, I think Calgary's about to find out that maybe we're not going to make the playoffs here. It is pretty cool, though, this time of year. We're late March. We're hitting late March where every Canadian NHL team is still fighting for something. And that's pretty awesome. You love to see it being Canadian and seeing all the teams doing well. So the Atlantic Division, Florida's sitting at the top right now. They've played 68 games. Toronto and Tampa only played 67. 85 points, 83 points, 83 points. What really stood out for me here, looking at their stats, is not quite the goals for. They're all around the same. 236, 221 for Florida, 236 for Tampa, 216 for the Leafs. But it's the differential. And plus 37 for Florida, plus 57 for Tampa, and plus 17 for Toronto. I'm not really going to look at that too much because I think the Leafs did improve a lot defensively in the second part of the year. Could be wrong, but just adding Carlo, a little bit of depth with Lawton there, I think that's going to improve. But what I also sit here and I say, this is probably something that is good for them, which means they're playing closer games in some of these wins, which we're going to need for the playoffs. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, I still think Florida might hang on to first place. We will see. They've been struggling as of late. They don't have Marchand. They don't have Tkachuk. And my first thought last Thursday when the Leafs lost to Florida was that Florida kind of handled them the entire game. And that was without Tkachuk or Marchand in the lineup and without Ekblad. Ekblad's not even there yet. I have their roster up right here. They've got Rodriguez playing with Barkov and Reinhart on that top line. You're probably going to see Marchand move into that left side during the playoffs. Tkachuk's going to go back on that second line with Bennett and Verhaeghe. Oh, man, unbelievable top two. Sam Moskowitz is up there right now. He looked phenomenal against the Leafs. But the rest of their lineup's really good with Boquist, Lindell, and Luosterainen filling out that third line. And then Nico Sturm, who they did pick up at the deadline as a face-off guy. They got Jonah Gadovich and AJ Greer. AJ Greer is a guy that hits everything. He was pissing people off in that game against Toronto. Forsling, Seth Jones, Nico Mikkola, Dmitry Kulikov, Nate Schmidt, and rounding it out with Uvis Balinskins. I don't know which guy will fall out there. Probably Balinskins, I'm not sure. But when Aaron Ekblad comes back, it's absolutely filthy. If they're healthy the entire time, I think Florida might be destined to go pretty far, man. And it's pretty unbelievable. So, looking at Tampa Bay, I mentioned that I really like the depth they made. They're not as sexy as they have been in previous years, but I think they're a really good team still. All the way 1 through 4 as well, with Hagel, Sorelli, Kucherov, Gord, who they added back to Tampa, Braden Point, and Gensel. Like, unbelievable top 6. You need that, and we'll talk about the Leafs soon where it's a bit concerning. Borkstrand, Nick Paul, and Kongalvis. I don't even know who that is on their third line. And then they got Gergensons, Glendening, and Radish who have been there pretty much all year. Their defense has been the same all year long, I believe, which also looks pretty good. Won't get into that too in depth right now, but no one's on the IR for them. This is the Tampa team that's going to be rolling into the playoffs, and it looks pretty damn good. Although, the Leafs are good too, right? We bring up their forward lines. I said in the last episode, pretty worrisome about that second line left wing hole. Shout out to Daily Faceoff. They have Pontus Holmberg there right now. It seems that's kind of what they've been rolling with. And honestly, the way Max Domi, Nick Robertson, and Bobby McMahon played last night, I would love to see that third line stay that way. I really question bringing Scott Laughton down to the fourth line. I mean, you paid a first for the guy, and now he's on your fourth line with Lorentz and Yarncroke. Excuse me. I don't know if that's because anybody's hurt. Is Kempf hurt? They don't have him hurt. I guess he was a healthy. They got Max Pacioretty and Yanni Hakanpää on the IR. I don't think you're going to see him. Pacioretty's the guy I think we're hoping, as Leaf fans, who knows, that Pacioretty's the guy that can go in that left side, although it just makes the line so much slower with Tavares on that line already, who is pretty damn slow. And then you got Nylander on the right wing that's going to be flying around. It's going to be one hell of a stretch. And I mentioned with the Leafs, they're healthy again on the blue line with Carlo and Riley, McCabe and Tanev, OEL, Ekman-Larsson, and Simone Benoit. I think Benoit is going to be able to hold on to that role for the playoffs. I believe it was Benoit and McCabe who were playing really well together, whether it was last year or at the beginning of this year. But when I look at these D pairings, Morgan Riley's the one that sticks out for me as the biggest concern, which is insane to say, but it is only the biggest concern, I guess, because he's going to be playing those top line minutes and his defensive play. But he's got Carlo there, Tanev there, whoever they pair him with. Like, I really do like the Leafs decor. What I'm concerned with is the hole on the left wing, and will they be able to last in the playoffs? Because I still love the line of Knives, Matthews, and Marner. Anyway, it's yada yada in the end. It's about what the Leafs can do in the playoffs and what we see. It's going to be one hell of a race. I think whoever wins the Atlantic it's not an easy one, but it's a lot better not to play one of these other teams in the first round of the playoffs. And we'll give a shout out here, even though I don't have it written down, to the Ottawa Senators. They are in the first wild card spot right now. I think they're going to hold on to it. There's still a lot of games left, 15, 16 games, and we've seen them go on streaks where they've just lost it. But I really like the Ottawa Senators right now. Allmark is back, it seems like. The other team in the wild card spot right now is the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers are a team that, if they can start heating up, look out for them. I believe Calgary's in New York tonight, and back-to-back New York should be loving this game. And New York can go on a heater. I really don't see any of the other teams catching up. Columbus has fallen off. I think they're coming back down to reality here. Love where that team's going. The Detroit Red Wings, love where they're going as well. I just don't think they're going to have enough in the tank to get into the playoffs. I think the way the playoffs are set right now with those teams, those are the teams that will be in the playoffs in the East. Of course, there'll still maybe be some shuffling, but that's my take on that. Second thing, sticking with hockey, Team Canada is set to announce, or all the Olympic teams for hockey are set to announce their first 6 players, and they're going to announce this in June. June already, I think this is incredibly early. Why throw it in June? Are you going to wait until the NHL season's over? Like, playoffs is still going to be kicking. Let's just talk about playoffs then. Give us, throw this at us at, middle to end of August, where the free agency's kind of quieted down. It's kind of boring in hockey world. Then let's throw the names out. I don't know. Why June? Anyways, Team Canada 4 Nations first 6 from last February, whatever it was Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Brad Marchand, Connor McDavid, and Braden Point. All of those names are the exact 6 I would choose for next year, except Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand from a previous episode was a guy that I had as not a lock to be picked for the Olympic team. I'm going to throw in, people have been talking about, could it be Binnington? Just throw him in, whether he's the third goalie or not, because he deserved it. Devon Taves, Pietrangelo. I looked at all these names, and as soon as I didn't even finish the list, because when I stopped on this guy, who I have not given love to in the past, especially in my Dynasty Hockey League, shout out GDHL, Josh Morrissey. He looked phenomenal in this tournament. Guaranteed tap-in Eagle. This guy's on Team Canada's Olympic team. I threw my notes down. Got to pick them back up. We'll end it there with that talk. Before June, we should go through every team and we'll do a list what our 6 would be. That'd be fun. That would be fun. NFL, boy oh boy, gave us all the content. Gotta love it. It's still coming in. I've sat here for years, it feels like, and I've talked about Aaron Rodgers possibly being a Steeler. And I'm getting to the point now where everyone has told me, it's the soap opera, it's the Aaron Rodgers show. I'm getting to that point where I hate it. And I want it to be done with. Aaron Rodgers possibly wants to be a Minnesota Viking. We popped up their depth chart. And I can understand why maybe he'd want to play there. It's weird. He's doing the same thing Brett Favre did. Really weird. Possibly wants to be a Minnesota Viking. I can see why. They have J.J. McCarthy, but still a rookie quarterback who has not played one regular season game yet because of injury. Aaron Jones at the running back. They traded for Jordan Mason from the Niners not a couple days ago. Love that as a second option. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, and TJ Hawkinson are the guys you're throwing the ball to. Can totally understand why you would want to be the quarterback of that team. Cameron Hayward of the Steelers is over the Aaron Rodgers talk. This isn't going to help the cause of getting him there, but I can totally understand where Hayward's coming from here. And I quote, either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. Totally get it. Make up your mind. Aaron Rodgers doing the Aaron Rodgers show. Dragging things out, dragging people along. Little over it. Now, what do the Steelers do if Aaron Rodgers doesn't be a Steeler? Jameis Winston's out there, but he might be visiting the Giants. Please don't do that. They signed the Rudolph again, the reindeer. And on this program, I've cursed his name, Mason Rudolph. But you know what? Go 2-15. Go 3-16. We need one of those years. I'm tired of the 500. Be terrible. You've locked in a good wide receiver. You're the Steelers. People will want to play for you. But be really bad. Get a high pick. Get a good quarterback. Could it be Manning? Archie, I believe, right? And I as a Steeler fan for the last 21 years, 20 years, 22 years, I haven't really had to deal with, the terrible seasons. I suppose I could deal with one now. It's friggin' tough, though. Cooper Kupp signs with the Seahawks, so this is a little older, but I had to hit on it. Hated it off the start. Again, we have the depth chart up. I feel for my brother, being a Rams fan. Kupp goes to the same division in Seattle. So Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker III, when he's healthy. Backup, Zach Charbonnet. Jackson Smith-Njigba, awesome player. Lockett gone, DK gone. They have Cooper Kupp and MVS and Noah Fant. Not the sexiest, but I was like, why? He probably could have chosen where he could go. And then someone told me that Cooper Kupp is from the Washington area. Guy wants to go home and play home for the rest of his career. I get it. But, again, it's not the sexiest thing for me. Whatever. Bengals Inc. Higgins, finally. Higgins was franchise tagged. He's always going to be a number 2 there behind Chase. They've made Jamar Chase the highest paid wide receiver. I think they said Higgins is the highest paid number 2 wide receiver or something like that. And then I think Burrow's the highest quarterback paid of all time. So great. You got the three guys who are awesome. But this is the thing. Chase Brown, awesome. Zach Moss, and Samaje Perine. Had no idea he went back to Cincinnati. He's going to be the third string running back there. Really sucks for Dynasty Football League for me. Shout out the Adam Groom Dynasty Football team. Zach Moss and Perine are both on my team. Not a good look having a second and third string running back there. Not a good look. But the thing is with the offense is Cincy, it's never been the problem. It's the defense. I even wrote it down. It's all about the defense. They couldn't stop anything last year. No idea if they did anything to improve it, but we'll find out. Hate talking about teams in the AFC North. Hate it so much. The Players' Championship, got to talk a little golf. I watch as much as I possibly can. It's one of the best things to do on a lazy Sunday. Sit back, watch the final round of a golf tournament. We got a little bonus coverage on the Monday morning going to the 3-hole playoff. Now, McIlroy and JJ Spawn. McIlroy got to tee first. And the rule on that was because he was in the clubhouse first with the lead, which at first I thought kind of silly because JJ Spawn had the better score going into the final round. He was in the last tee group. But McIlroy had a better final round. Either way, in this situation, I think it's like, flip a tee. Flip a coin. Because McIlroy stepped up on that 16th and just lasered one 320 and said, it's your tee, JJ. I mean, he wasn't doing that. The 17th. And now this is great because they show JJ look at Rory's bag to see what club he pulled. He sees that he pulls a 9-iron. And he's like, oh, crap, I don't hit the ball as far as McIlroy. I'm definitely going to have to go with an 8. But what he must have not noticed is that McIlroy took a 3/4 swing or a half swing. I don't remember what it was, but it was a hell of a shot. Now, 130 yards on that day. Wind was like 10, 11 miles per hour in the face. I mean, you still got to think you could get it through that wind with that club. But JJ pulls an 8-iron. And it seemed like it wasn't a full swing either. But I mean, as soon as the announcer said he's got 8-iron, and they showed the wind in the top right corner, I thought, what the hell? On a great day, my pitching wedge can go 130. Unbelievable. I know. But with that wind, I mean, it's the freaking 17th at Sawgrass. It's terrifying. But as soon as they said 8-iron, I was like, oh man, there's no way he's going to be able to do this. And he didn't. It goes, and it was over. It was the McIlroy show the whole time. Now, a cool thing about McIlroy, we're getting to night. One thing about McIlroy, they showed a list of all of his wins. He's never won in April. Not once. He's won a crap ton in May. Got to get the Masters moved into May or something. But could this be the year where McIlroy wins the Masters? Tough look. Not going to talk about McIlroy stealing the phone. That was weird. I think the guy's losing it a little bit. But I feel for McIlroy. He was the face of the PGA during the whole live situation. He's still the guy. I just want him to be able to focus on being the face of the PGA and playing good golf. 20 days until the Masters, baby. Let's go. So excited. Those are takes from Groomer. Darts is difficult. Drives me crazy. Love it, though. 20 days till the Masters. Let's go. The Adam Groom Show. See you later. See ya. Bye.